I don't know if you saw Cal Dietz's presentation, but he showed the owl where he turned the owl in all direction and the eyes and head stayed right there. It's just an amazing reminder of the rotational abilities that we have. And then you showed Patrick doing like a 180 lunge where he turned his head all the way around just like an owl. And you also mentioned how no matter how crazy his body is, how his head stays still and his off arm stays still. Can you elaborate on that?
Yes. So I did watch Cal's presentation, and that effect is exactly what we want from our throwers, pitchers or quarterbacks or javelin. I don't care who it is. Well, not javelin necessarily because they don't have a target, but you want your head still and you want your front side arm still. That's going to create a pendulum effect. So in my mind, there's two types of rotation. There's real rotation, so how you can actually rotate and move. And there's relative rotation. These have a relationship, but they're not the same. The relative rotation is how well your body rotates around a tissue or a joint or just a bookmark place. And we want our quarterbacks and throwers to have the highest level of relative rotation possible. It's just like if you play tetherball, it's all moving, everything's good and great. But when that rope catches, that's when the velocity happens. Think of your ability to stay still and allow for that relative rotation phenomenon to happen as when the rope on a tetherball game catches. That's when things should speed up around you. And really, when you stop, that's when everything else speeds up. So you want the guys to extend out in front. You want them to finish. And that's one of the best ways to get guys to finish. You start moving your head. You watch a thrower that's inaccurate. Watch them do this. Watch them do this. Watch them do this, this, this. And if they're going to do it different with every throw, that's why they never know where their throw is going. And that's a problem. So a lot of the no-look passing concepts come from him just deciding, this is where I'm going to hold still. My vision is going to continue to read what's happening, and I'm going to throw that thing here. But that's his best attempt at keeping still, not necessarily not looking. Because it's not truly a no-look. He is looking. He's just not turning. Those are two different things.
With as funky as Patrick is and as different as he is, have any of his coaches tried to put him in a box, or have all of his coaches say, Patrick, we want you to be Patrick?
That's a great question. He's been lucky. Well, I shouldn't say lucky. Obviously, he's got some skill in the way he makes people feel and his interpersonal skills. And so people haven't really tried to have an intervention with him. I think early in middle school and high school, obviously, you're a coach. You're trying to get everybody to a certain level of proficiency. So you can't really blame those coaches for trying. And I think that might have been some of the reason why he didn't start till the third game of his junior year at quarterback. You know, he wasn't the quarterback even for his grade. Probably because his technical model was just so far off of what they were teaching for their programs that it was kind of hard to recognize what his real skills were, right? But no, when he got to college, I mean, the reason no one liked his skill set. You guys can say that all these people saying whatever they did. Okay, nobody wanted him for quarterback except Cliff Kingsbury. Nobody. Even his senior year, a couple people came in late. It was people that were like, when you start getting offers from people that are in the hot seat, you know that they're like, hey, risk it. Who cares? Let's see if this kid can do it. You know, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about that. Cliff was the first and the only guy that said he's got elite skills that Cliff didn't feel like he could coach, but he did feel like he could manage into a game breaker at the quarterback position. And Cliff didn't want to jack with that. What Cliff did is serve up concepts, serve up ideas. And I think that's an incredible way to coach. And Patrick is so blessed in that when he was going through the draft process, he told his agents very specifically, I don't want to go to the highest pick. I don't want to go to this, that, and the other. I want to go to the best situation. And Andy Reid and the coaching philosophies that he has is he allows freedom and creativity and fun, which is very important with his athletes. And with Patrick's personality, it couldn't have been a better fit. There's so many scenarios that it could have turned out differently, but it's just a perfect situation. He's blessed for that.
And I think that's something a lot of people forget, that, you know, why does this first round draft pick guy not make it his first or second year? Half of the NFL is where you fit. You know, in Chicago, everyone complains about Mitch Trubisky. We could have taken Patrick Mahomes first. I don't think Patrick Mahomes would have been Patrick Mahomes if he came to Chicago. I think it was just a fit and where people seem to fit. I know some people say the best athletes aren't in the NFL right now, that they didn't fit into the system that the coaches wanted. And so that's what's kind of, people say this or that about Patrick or all these other people, but people forget, do you fit into the system that you went to? And I think Kansas City, he fit into the system, or they built a system around him based on what his skills were.
I absolutely agree, but we also can't underestimate an athlete's ability to fit in a system. That's a skill set as well. And when they call a kid a bust, I think it's just a combination of a lot of factors. The GM did make a bad decision always. It's like you said, Chris, are the coaches really recognizing what makes this individual, what's their signature uniqueness, like what makes them different? Are they trying to create an opportunity for them to thrive with those attributes? Are their lifestyles decisions changing because they got drafted? Is the culture of that team conducive to their personality? If all these things are off, then the kid might not be a bust. That's why people have great second careers. You take your guy, Montgomery, like, what's he doing this year? Okay, what's different? Could he not play before? Yeah, physically he's better. He's got better training, but let's be honest, to a lot of these coaches and systems, it can be like flavors of ice cream. There's a lot of good ones, but it's got to fit with what you're serving up.